Okay, so hey guys, and here I am with part 10 of the Minardi Manager Career mode, where I'm trying to take Minardi to be the best team around, and as you can see on the screen, I think we're going to be able to do that, because we've just signed as our commercial manager, Stefano Domenicali. I know I said last episode I was going to announce our brakes and electronic suppliers, but I forgot about the commercial manager, which is quite surprising. I forgot about him considering it is Stefano Domenicali, which has had, quite a rich and very interesting history in Formula 1, as I'm sure you know. Because obviously, at the minute, he's the commercial manager, he's in charge of the sponsorship and merchandising and etc. for Ferrari, but he's going to be coming to us. I mean, we're still an Italian team, but I think he's realised that soon, Minardi are going to be the top Italian team around, and not Ferrari. Especially some of the, like our driver announcements, for example. I think that shows, we're going up in the world, and that's why he's joined us. At $400,000 a year, with only $60,000 if he wins the Constructors, which is a shame considering the amount of money he's going to bring into us as a team. He's going to bring us so much sponsorship and merchandise revenue. It's going to be brilliant. But Stefano Domenicali is the highest rated commercial manager in the game with an overall rating of 98. And if you compare that to Massimo Cusimano, our current commercial manager, his overall rating is only 90, which is quite terrible to be honest. But Stefano Domenicali, a great driver. Top Gear magazine, just before I go into his career, but Top Gear magazine rated him in the as one of the top men of the year in 2012 for keeping Ferrari, near the top of Formula 1 against, all odds of Ferrari having a terrible car. I mean, you could argue it was more of Alonso who was responsible for keeping Ferrari there, but obviously Stefano Domenicali, as of 2008, right the way up until, I think it was April 2014, was the team principal for Ferrari, and obviously Ferrari went downhill shortly after he started to manage them, but he did win the Constructors' Championship for Ferrari in 2008, and hopefully with those mediocre, I suppose kind of not that good management skills combined with his clearly brilliant commercial and sponsorship skills, he'll be a great asset to our team. So anyways, that's Stefano Domenicali, obviously a great asset to our team there. And I'm looking forward to having him. Obviously, we got to stick with Massimo Cusimano at the minute, but he's doing an alright job for us. He's got us one merchandising deal. We've got all the sponsor space taken up on our car. So, he's done a good job for us. We're getting about 1.9 million a race, so that's good. But obviously, we've got a test day in Italy, which we're not going to go to. As I've already explained, but here we are, we've got the race at the A1 ring, or as it's now known as the Red Bull ring, but at this time it was sponsored by A1, which I don't know who A1 are. I should probably look. I'll go and look that up in a sec. And obviously this was one of the last years it was used. I think they stopped using the A1 ring in about 2001, if I'm correct with what I'm saying. But it's a good track. Hopefully it can serve us well, but obviously that race is in, well, we're talking 2 weeks time? Yeah, just less than 2 weeks time, so I think you know the drill. We'll see if there's any news, and if there isn't, then, well, cut to the practice report around the A1 ring. I was going to call it the Red Bull ring then. But anyway, I'll see you then. Okay, so hey guys, so we have got some news. Actually, there's a lot of news, but most of it just looks like teams are losing sponsors. I mean, they might well gain these back, but if you look at the teams, it's Benetton and Prost that are losing sponsors, so they haven't really performed, to be honest, these teams, especially Prost. They really have underperformed, so I'm not surprised they're losing sponsors, to be honest. But if we start looking at the news, the proper news, we got Ferrari confirm Les Olsen as their commercial manager, because obviously, as we've just announced, they've lost Stefano Domenicali, so they've got to get this guy in, and he's so good that he hasn't even got a background. It's just a transparent background. Well, I say transparent, it's black, but probably taken from a transparent picture or whatever. Les Olsen, he looks not that trustworthy, to be honest, but Ferrari think he is, or at least he's a replacement to Stefano Domenicali. So there you go, Les Olsen. And Johnny Herbert. The rumours keep on flooding in about Johnny Herbert. And you see, the bad thing is that means we have to keep on looking at this picture of him, but he might be going to McLaren, which will be driver number 2, because that's the only position that they haven't filled up yet. Then we got more news and more sponsors. Yep, just more news and more sponsors. Nothing interesting here, I don't think. If we go down, so we got Johnny Herbert again. So he's linked now, possibly with BAR. Just nobody. It's just he can't make up his mind. Either that, or he's just the most desirable driver there is, which I disbelieve. But he's been linked with a lot of teams, a lot of top-end teams. So, well, and BAR. But what else have we got? McLaren confirms Bernard Dudot. I'm guessing that's a silent T, Duo. Anyway, Bernard as their new technical director, which means they're getting rid of their current one, because I'm pretty certain he isn't their current one. No, he's not, because I don't know who their current one is, but there's some major reshuffling going on at McLaren in terms of drivers, in terms of their engine suppliers, and I don't think it's going to do them any good apart from cost cutting, which I don't have confidence that McLaren will be a better team next year than Stefano Cesarin with Jordan. And I looked up about Stefano Cesarin, and I thought he was with Minardi, and he was in the '99 Brazilian Grand Prix, replacing Badoer, which to us, I wish we did. I wish he actually did replace Badoer that race, because from what I remember, both of our drivers didn't finish that race. And coincidentally, actually, I read on Wikipedia that Cesarin had a crash. I'll see if I can find a video of it, actually. If I do, I'll insert it in to this video. But he had a crash around the final corner just before the start-finish line, which is a similar crash to one that Badoer had. God, Badoer, you were right. That looked like a pretty scary crash there. Come back into the pits and we'll talk about it. So, all sorts of weird things going on. And to us, I think we should get Stefano Cesarin for that reason, but we haven't. And he might be going to Jordan, but at least he's going to a fairly top team then. I mean, if he's going to them. Benetton confirms Rob Taylor as their chief designer. Well, there you go. Parmalat back. Oh no, so that's a sponsor. Okay, Benetton confirms Marco Fessa as their commercial manager. He looks better than Les Olsen. He looks like a more trustworthy guy than Les Olsen does. Yeah, there you go. That's Benetton's new one, and then it's just sponsors. So that was the news. Oh no, we've got. Okay, so we got to reapply all these sponsors. God. Kickers, or well, kickers are going to have to go on the side. It's only B spot left. No, hang on, no. Oh no, I can have kickers on the front wing or on the side. No, I think kickers looks the best, so we're going to have it on the side. Yep. Rossi's we have to reapply. Just in these two crummy spots. You know, I've explained how the sponsors work in this game. Obviously, I think I explained it in the first part. God, the first part of this series where I was just explaining stuff constantly. But yeah, I explained how this all worked. But anyway, so we just got to reapply these, and there you go. You see all the sponsorship spots taken up on both the driver overalls and the car. So Massimo Cusimano has done a good job. I just feel that, you know, that someone like Stefano Domenicali, who has got history in F1, you know, he's been a team boss, etc, etc, you know, so I think you know, I just think someone like him will do well for us, really. Only won a Constructors Championship, and that's why, you know, that's something that Massimo Cusimano hasn't done, and that's why we're not retaining him next year. But anyway, Something good, although he has only got one merchandise. Like, he got t-shirts, that's it. Nothing else. First, who would want a Minardi jigsaw puzzle anyway? With a niche product that would be. Now, Stefano Domenico, I'm sure could get that sorted and could get something to them. Anyway, no, actually, getting distracted. The interesting news is from Domenico Frascini, who I'm guessing is the head of Magneti Marelli, sending us the 6th model of electronics. Now, I know I haven't announced our electronics company, but with Minardi being the best and sending us so many different models of electronic, which is good obviously because it means we're not going to run out of electronics parts, but also it means that they're constantly improving it and making it a lot better. So although I haven't announced our new electronics company for next year, I think, judging by how good they are and how they're the best in the game anyway, I think you can guess whether I'm going to be retaining them next year or not. But anyway, we just got more weekly reports, as per usual. So I'll see if there's any more news, and if there isn't, then I'll cut to practice report around the A1 ring. So I'll see you then. Okay, so hey guys, so we have got some more news. Well, I say news, most of it's rumours and there's not a lot, but Johnny Herbert again linked to going with Ferrari. And they've moved the picture, but it's still there, so still got to look at it. Zanardi is linked to going with Ferrari, and I've said pretty much throughout the entire season how I think Zanardi has been the worst driver this season, or definitely the most underperforming driver this season. And if he goes to Ferrari, then, well, I might have to eat my own words, but then again, we've seen Ferrari do some strange things this season, so. And then Laurent Redon is rumoured to be going to Williams, but the actual news is BAR confirms Stephanie Cesarin as their test driver. So obviously, apparently, a Minardi driver, even if only for one race, apparently a Minardi driver isn't quite good enough to be a race driver for BAR, which is sort of understandable, but there you go. Stephanie Cesarin, at least he's found a permanent seat with the team rather than just a one race seat with us. And then Gustav Brunner, obviously we already confirmed he won't be our technical director next year, that's Mike Gascoigne. But Prost have finally, you know, at least Gustav Brunner has found a contract for next year, and it's with Prost, and Prost an underperforming team this year. And I know, because I got inside knowledge, Gustav Brunner hasn't been the best technical director around, so could be another backward step for Prost perhaps, I don't know, but well, at least he's got a job again, Gustav Brunner, or he's got a job for next year, so I'm happy with him for that. And yeah, he's sent us an email confirming that he is going to another team next year. But anyway, so it's the 23rd July, the day before the Austrian Grand Prix at the, well, what was formerly called the Österreich Ring, but now it's sponsored by A1, and I have looked up, they are a Austrian mobile phone company. So there you go. When the company was founded in '96, and they sponsored this track from 1996. So that means they sponsored this circuit from the moment that the company existed, pretty much anyway. So that's a pretty interesting one. But anyway, obviously this track is now known as the Red Bull Ring, and this track's had a lot of changes over its lifespan, which stretches back to the 60s really. So it's got a lot of history. It's a good track, it's a short track, it's a high speed track. Not going to favour our Ford Zetec engines, but hopefully we've only scored points once this season, and that was with a track that was also, well, that was at Imola, and that was deemed unsafe eventually by the FIA. And this track has been deemed unsafe at times. You know, it's been taken off the calendar and had modifications to it. So hopefully, it's those kind of unsafe, dangerous tracks that seem to favour us at Minardi. I don't know, but let's see if that theory can be proved anyway, with a good performance here. So let's head off to the A1 ring. Okay, so we just had a practice session around the A1 ring in 1999, and it has had an amazing finish. So let's have a look at the practice results. Mika Häkkinen is in first, I suppose unsurprisingly. as he is the 1999 World Champion, but Eddie Irvine is in second, and he's beaten his teammate who is way down the field. Third is Häkkinen's teammate David Coulthard. Fourth is Heinz-Harald Frentzen in the Jordan to be the best driver from none of the top teams. Rubens Barrichello is in 5th, and Damon Hill rounds out the points positions in 6th. Fisicella and Wirth are 7th and 8th for the Benettons, with Schumacher and Zanardi lining up both Williams just behind. Johnny Herbert is in 11th, with Jacques Villeneuve in 12th. Sean Lacey puts in a fairly good performance for the Sauber to be in 13th, with Ricardo Zonta down in 14th. Jarno Trulli is in 15th, with Petro Diniz in 16th. Olivier Panis lines up 17th to be ahead of both Minardis of Genet and Badoer in 18th and 19th respectively. 20th and 21st belongs to both Arrows drivers of Takaki and De La Rosa. And last position, surprisingly, is Michael Schumacher. He was able to set a quick lap time. As you can see, he did 3 laps at least, but for some reason none of those were quick laps, and for some reason he wasn't on the pace today. Even though it's only the practice session, it is a worry for the Ferrari man. Okay, so the qualifying has just ended around the A1 ring in 1999, and it was a bit more of a return to normality than we saw in the practice session, so let's have a look at the results. David Coulthard lines up ahead of Mika Häkkinen, which I suppose isn't really a return to normality, with Coulthard beating Häkkinen. Although lining up just behind Mika Häkkinen is Michael Schumacher in the Ferrari, who lines up just ahead of his teammate Eddie Irvine, with both Jordans of Damon Hill and Heinz-Harald Frentzen taking 5th and 6th respectively. Ralf Schumacher is in 7th, with both Stewarts of Barrichello and Herbert with 8th and 9th. Fisicella is in 10th, with Wirth in 11th. Zanardi's in 12th, Villeneuve 13th, Alesi 14th, Diniz 15th. Zonta has a bit of a disappointing performance of BAR to be down in 16th. Panis and Trulli are in 17th and 18th, to be just ahead of their rivals the Minardi in 19th and 20th, despite both Minardis not completing all 12 of their qualifying laps after Badoer spun off at the first corner and Genet spun off at the 7th corner. And on the back row of the grid, as per usual, are Pedro De La Rosa and Teranosuke Takaki in the Arrows. Okay, so hey guys, so that was a pretty interesting practice and qualifying session around Austria, with, you know, the likes of Schumacher finishing last during practice was crazy. But I'll tell you something that is crazy. I mean, for a team like Minardi, as you can see, we got the ratings, so our parts obviously chassis rated 90 because it was designed by whoever our designer is. The name escapes me. I can't even think what our design is called now. I remember next year's, I don't remember this year's, that's the thing, I'm looking forward to into the future, but our chassis, which was designed by whoever he was, not very good. Ford Zetec engines aren't very good. And our aero parts, again designed by the same person, aren't very good. But what is surprising is Brembo brakes, even though they're the worst in the game, they're rated 97 out of 100, which means they can't be that far off the pace of the AP brakes and MR brakes, which is something I've genuinely only just learned and is quite interesting. But what is interesting is how Magneti Marelli's 6th model of electronics, which we received just before this race, is rated 100 out of 100, so it's perfect. And that shows how brilliant the Magneti Marelli electronics are, and at the minute they're the only good component in the car. I mean, Brembo brakes are good, but MR brakes and AP brakes would be better, but to have 100 out of 100 rated electronics is amazing. But anyway, race strategy. Now here's a slight worry, the cars only hold a maximum of 135 litres. And so normally I would tell Genet to pit a lap later, but the fuel, I don't know whether he will. I could try and work it out with a calculator. In fact, actually, you know what, I'm going to go and grab my calculator right now and work it out. So, well, I say my calculator, it's going to be my iPod actually. Calculator, because I don't trust Gustav Brunner's calculations. Obviously, if this was Mike Gascoigne, I trust him, but surely a one-stop can't be the best strategy when you're carrying that much fuel. But anyway, 130... Actually, no, because we want to see if we can make him pit on lap 37. So, 135 divided by 3.33. Okay, so if Genet carries that amount of average fuel usage per lap of 3.3 litres a lap, and he carries 135 litres, then apparently, according to my calculations, he would survive 40.5 laps, so 40 laps. So basically what I'm saying, Gustav Brunner, is why are you telling him to pit in that early? Or why are you telling him to carry that much fuel? You know what, actually, because I've done these calculations, I don't trust him. I'm going to actually formulate my own race strategy now. Yeah, so I might cut to when it's done, actually. Although his excuse for only being a one-stop is low tyre wear. Oh, that's a good shout, actually, low tyre wear. But what about high fuel? Yeah, hang on, let me just work this out. I'll cut back and see if I change the race strategy, so I'll see you then. Okay, I've had a think about it, guys, and while I know Gustav Brunner isn't the best technical director around, I think his argument of there being low tyre wear is good enough to warrant a one-stop strategy. But obviously, because I did the calculations, I've worked out that Genet should, assuming that fuel usage stay at 3.33, he should easily be able to last till lap 37. But obviously, low tyre wear, I don't want to make him pit in too many times. That could obviously drop us places. I've never actually tried to formulate my own race strategy before. I've usually just relied on whoever the technical director is. Well, there you go. So I'll trust him. Genet should be able to last till lap 37. Yeah, and another thing is, why would you do two-stop? Because obviously it's an equal amount of laps. Basically, if Genet can last till lap 37, they'll have enough fuel to last till 71, because 37's over halfway through. Yeah, I'll just... whatever, Nathan Sharp, maths is boring to everyone else. Yeah, let's go. Let's stop faffing around with the pre-racing. Let's just have a go. Let's just cut to the race. Yeah, I'm pretty maths-minded, but hang on. Badoer, you're starting ahead of the grid spot. And aren't you gonna get penalised, and Charlie Whiting gonna halt the race? Although it looked like that Arrows was ahead of us. Okay, so Charlie Whiting's not gonna give a damn, is he? Alright, Charlie, mate. I mean, surely it'd be in your best interest to get people to line up on the grid spots properly. Badoer, why are you getting stuck behind that BAR? So both Arrows have now passed Badoer. He's in last. Badoer is now in last because he got stuck behind that BAR while the Arrows just went down the inside. You know what? That's almost like Codemasters F1 games. You know, Arrows are like the players. You know, we know when we're playing Cody's F1 games to just go down the inside, have a good start. Well, Badoer was just another one of the AI taking a slow start. Okay. Well, I'm disappointed in Badoer, but I don't know where Genet is. Genet, I saw him, he's ahead of both Arrows, that's good. As long as he's ahead of both Arrows, although I would like to be ahead of both Prost, because obviously if you remember the Constructors' Championship situation, we don't want Prost to score points, although if it goes in an alphabetical system like I think it does, we would, if Prost scored 1 point this season, we would beat them, because obviously M is before P in the alphabet. So I think if Prost scored 1 point, I'll still get to keep my job and we'll still finish 10th in Constructors, but I don't want to rely on the alphabet. I want to, like, outpace him, and we have outpaced Panis at points this season. I don't think we've ever outpaced Truly this season. And to this, I'd be happy not to score any more points this season, as long as Prost don't score any points this season. That's the way I look at it. But anyway, what's this? A Sauber getting past an Arrows. That's what I like to see. I like to see people overtaking the Arrows, especially us. And as he just got past, And that's the call where Genet went off. I mean, I did tell him to risk everything, to be honest. I don't think that's something I mentioned in the qualifying report. I did tell him to risk everything. But anyway, we've all done a lap. So we know now. I'm not going to watch the whole race. Let's get to here. And, yeah, Badoer in last. Genet in 18th. Where's Trulli? Because he's the good Prost driver who's quite worrying. Oh, no, actually, Panis is ahead of Trulli. Okay, well, it won't be long till Trulli actually gets past Panis, but whatever. Hopefully it won't be long till Badoer gets past both hours at least. Hopefully. I say that more in hope than in belief, to be honest. No, he's got past Takaki. Where's De La Rosa? De La Rosa, oh, De La Rosa was ahead of Genet. Interesting. I don't really know what to say. No, Ragnar was, Zonta's out with a driver error there. That's something I didn't know, because Zonta was near the back with us anyway. But yeah, Zonta's out with a driver error. And we're at both Prost. I always keep an eye on Prost now, so we're ahead of Panis, that's good. But truly, he's the driver I fear, to be honest. He's only one place ahead of us, which is good. He's only one place, but it's, you know, that could be the difference between him being in 6th and me being in 7th. And I just don't want to chance that, really. But anyway, Badoer's now climbed up to be in 18th, which is good. He's got past Panis. Actually, what's Panis' pace like? Because it's not that good. Yeah, I mean, both our drivers are supposedly faster than Panis. What about Trulli's pace? Oh, Trulli was actually quicker than Zonta, but... Well, Zonta was quicker than us, but he's gone now. So he retired, driver error. What can I say? David Coulthard's still winning the race, which I'm quite surprised with, considering... Surely it'd be in McLaren's interest to let Häkkinen through, because obviously Häkkinen is fighting for the Drivers' Championship. Which, well, David Coulthard still could win it, but obviously Häkkinen's in more of a position too, he's got more points. And Johnny Herbert's out with a driver error, and Diniz, so we are actually climbing positions at this rate. And Johnny Herbert is weird, because I'll say he's linked to be with so many teams. He's linked with, at some point, I think, McLaren, Jordan, and Ferrari, and BAR. And that's not going to help his chance of getting a race seat next year if he's going to make a driver error. Although Jacques Villeneuve, 97 world champion, just had a driver error, so... Yeah, I mean, I don't think this track's that tricky, but I mean... Genet and Badoer both had offs during qualifying, so... Maybe it's not the easiest track, I mean, I don't know. But anyway, I really don't know what to say, to be honest. David Coulthard's still winning the race. He's still ahead of Häkkinen, which I find weird, to be honest. I don't know why they would want that. Anyway, and Panis has just got past Badoer. Although Badoer would have gone to his pit. He would have gone to the pits. That would have been his pit stop lap. There you go. Back past Panis. So Jarno Trulli. Yes! Jarno Trulli's out with driver error. Good. Good. So as long as Panis stays behind us, we don't have to worry about losing points to Prost. I'm now more concerned about Prost than I am Arrows to this. And Arrows, we've just had Takaki out of an electronics failure. I mean, until we rescore more points than Arrows, I'm more concerned about Prost. Because Prost are more of a threat to us. Well, I mean, I say that. I mean, we're outpacing Panis. And Trulli's having driver errors. And Schumacher's out with a suspension failure again. When has Schumacher finished a race this season? I don't... Well, Ralf Schumacher, I don't know. Fisicella's out with driver error. And we're getting into closing stages of the race. But Genet's only 4 places off the points. This would be... Oh, this would be amazing if we can sneak into the points at the last minute. That'd be perfect, to be honest. Near perfect. De La Rosa, what's that? Oh, no. Okay, no, I'm misreading it. I thought it said De La Rosa had a driver error, then he hasn't. Is there only going to be 4 last-minute retirements? I don't think there will be. I really hope there are, though. And... No, I don't think so. No? No. Okay, fine. Fine. As I said a minute ago, I don't mind not scoring points as long as Prost don't. And Prost didn't even finish. No, oh god, I mean, Trulli, obviously Panis finished, but Trulli didn't, so that's good, that's what I like to see. Especially as it's a driver error as well. But yeah, David Coulthard won. I mean, why? He's only 7 tenths ahead of Häkkinen, but why? I mean, especially as I've seen that advert going around on YouTube, actually, of David Coulthard confirming that he's had team orders from Hakkinen. Also that UBS advert, saying that McLaren have told Coulthard to move out the way for Hakkinen. Well, I mean, Ferrari team orders work there clearly. Either that or Schumacher outpaced Irvine. Okay, no, I think Schumacher outpaced him if he's about 1.5 minutes adrift of each other. I think Schumacher massively outpaced Irvine then. Anyway, yeah, that was a sort of interesting race. Well, Minardi actually was getting close to points. I know I've bashed him, but he's linked with Ferrari and he almost snuck into the points, so I'll take it back, and McLaren dominate, obviously, because they got a 1-2 finish. But, you know, I mean, with Schumacher still getting 6 points. Is it 6 points? I think, no, it'd be 4 points. Yeah, but Schumacher's still getting 4 points for coming third. I mean, obviously, Constructors' Championship, McLaren pulled out a lot there. But in terms of drivers, I mean, Hakkinen only outscored Schumacher by 2 points in that race, so yeah. Where we got these race reports. Don't think they'll say anything interesting. And we have the most advanced electronics, of course we do, but I mean, I'm pretty certain we aren't the only company that uses Magneti Marellis. So we have the joint most advanced electronics, you could say. And Ferrari have the most advanced everything else apart from brakes and chassis. But obviously, Neil Oatley designed that chassis. Neil Oatley's coming to us next year, so we might be seeing us with the most advanced chassis in 2001, obviously. If I ever record up to 2001, and you know, well, we'll see. Is it? Oh no, I don't want to click that. Actually, I can click that now, can't I? I've announced all our personnel. Yes, I can. Obviously, we've announced all our personnel. That's why I say I don't want to click there for spoilers, but Gabriel Tredozzi, that's who I was trying to remember, our chief designer. So yeah, there you go. Gabriel Tredozzi. Go replaced by Neil Oatley, because obviously if you look at chassis skill, 91, that's why our chassis is rated 90, because obviously Gabriel Tredozzi's chassis skill's not that good, but Neil Oatley's chassis skill 100. And the chassis is the backbone of the car, so obviously if the chassis is good and the engine's good, then crucially the car will be good, regardless of how bad the aero parts are. But obviously there's going to be good aero parts, obviously, because Neil Oatley's rated 99 research skills, so it's good. It's all good. What's our current chassis rated at? Okay, you might have seen a brief cut there, that was for spoiler reasons. And our chassis is just about going to be completed on time. To tell me its rating, no it doesn't. But obviously that chassis has to be completed by New Year's Day 2000. I don't know whether that's in tune with the real life FIA rules, knowing this game it probably isn't. But I know for a fact if it's not completed by the 1st of January 2000, I'm sacked. So hopefully, when estimated, finish at 21st November, so that's good. It's a good, solid date, and hopefully it'll be rated better than our current chassis. But anyway, I'm waffling on, to be honest, and these videos are always too long, but Schumacher is still leading the Drivers' Championship, just. That's what I said, why would Coulthard try and hold up Hakkinen when there's such a gulf between Coulthard and Hakkinen in terms of points? And Coulthard's now matching, well, Irvine and Coulthard are matching each other, so it's the battle for third, or the battle of the, for the second driver in each big team, to be honest, between those two. Yeah, with Barrichello still being rated best of the rest, or Damon Hill not too far behind, and so is Johnny Herbert, he's not too far behind. Maybe why he's got quite a few links to the bigger teams, but anyway. Constructors, crucially, we're still 10th, that's where we have to be, is 10th, with Ferrari just pipping McLaren there, and Stewart being the best of the rest. I'm surprised, I thought it would be Jordan or Williams, but at the minute it's Stewart. Manager rating, oh no, Eddie Jordan is rated just, I mean crucially, 6 points difference, but he's rated just higher than me, and so's Craig Pollock of BAR. But I'll tell you what's important, is we're rated higher than Tom Walkinshaw, we're rated higher than Alain Prost, and also I suppose it's something you can be proud of, is we're rated higher than Ron Dennis, and Frank Williams. I think that's harsh on Ron Dennis. I mean, McLaren are winning the Constructors, are they? No, they're not, but they're not far off, to be honest. They're winning the drive. They're not winning the drivers. And they've got the better car. Okay, that's why Ron Dennis isn't rated that good. They got the better car, and he clearly hasn't utilised the extra resources he's got. But anyway, next race, we are at Hockenheim, Germany. The old Hockenheim, the proper manly Hockenheim. This is my favourite layout of Hockenheim. Obviously, the newer one is a lot more boring and a lot safer. Crucially, that's why it's not surrounded by forests which have killed, you know. Great names. I'm pretty certain Jim Clark died at the Forest of Hockenheim. But anyway, obviously, that's why they've got rid of these straights, because it's not as safe. And I understand that, but it's just the old Hockenheim's got so much more to it, to be honest. But anyway, it's a massive lap, as you can see, 6.8 kilometers. Most of it straights, to be honest. But obviously, yeah, you got the last sector, which is the stadium section, which you do get in the modern day Hockenheim. But anyway, it's a great track. I love the old Hockenheim. I think it's one of the greatest tracks that's ever been in F1. Is the old Hockenheim. It's definitely, well, yeah, one of my favourite. And next part, I'm going to announce our engine suppliers. Now, I know I was going to announce brakes and electronics by moving engine forward, which I'm not going to say anything, but I will say I think it's quite timely to mention our engines for next year just before this race. I think it's quite timely. It's quite a nice thing to do, let's put it that way. But anyway, that's a little clue. I'm sure you'll be able to work it out. I mean, what engine suppliers are there? There's Honda, there's Ford Cosworth, Ford Zetec, there's Mercedes, there's Peugeot, Supertech, Petronas engines. You know, there's quite a few engines there, but I'm pretty sure, judging by my clue, you should be able to work out which one it is. Plus also how ambitious we're being as a team. You should be able to work out which one's best. But anyway, leave it down in the comments which engine you think I'm using, which engines you think I should be using anyway. And I'll see you next time for the amazing Hockenheim Grand Prix. So I'll see you then.